There's a Volkswagen Golf in Germany with over 800,000 kilometers on the original engine. No rebuild, no swap, the same block it left the factory with. And here's the part that'll bug you. The owner isn't some genius mechanic, he's a retired school teacher. Walk through any German town and you'll see it everywhere. 20, 30-year-old Volkswagens still on the road, still running clean, still getting driven daily like it's nothing, while a lot of cars half their age are already rotting in junkyards. It's not luck, and it's not that German VWs are built different from the ones sold everywhere else. It comes down to a handful of habits. Small, almost boring things that Germans treat as non-negotiable and that most owners either skip or were never taught. Today, I'm breaking down exactly what those habits are, why they work, and how you can do the same with your own car, German or not. Some of these will surprise you, and a couple might go against what you've been told for years. Habit number 9, they never let the engine work cold. Here's something almost every German VW driver does without even thinking about it. They don't romp on a cold engine. You start it up on a winter morning, and instead of pulling out and flooring it to make the light, you give it a minute. Easy throttle, low revs. Let things get moving gently until the temperature needle starts to lift off the bottom. And there's real reasoning behind it. When that engine's cold, the oil is thick and slow. It hasn't fully reached every bearing, every cam lobe, every tight tolerance yet. The metal parts haven't expanded to their normal running clearances either. So if you demand full power in those first couple of minutes, you're grinding metal on metal with barely any protection in between. Do that once, no big deal. Do it every single morning for 10 years. And that's the difference between an engine that quits at 200,000 and one that's still humming past 500,000. The Germans aren't sitting there warming it up for 10 minutes in the driveway. That's a myth, and it actually wastes fuel and washes oil off the cylinder walls. They just drive gently for the first few kilometers and let the car warm up the right way, under light load, on the move. Simple, free, and most people get it completely wrong. Habit number 8, they obsess over the right oil, not just oil. Ask a typical car owner when they last changed their oil and you'll get an answer. Ask a German VW owner what oil is in their car and they'll tell you the exact specification, not the brand, the spec. Something like 50400 or 50700, and that little detail matters more than almost anything else under the hood. See? Volkswagen doesn't just say, use 5W30 and call it a day. They engineer their engines around very specific oil standards. And those numbers mean the oil's been tested and approved for the things generic oil isn't, protecting the timing chain, keeping the turbo bearings alive, not clogging up the emissions system over time. Pour in some cheap off-the-shelf oil that just looks like the right weight. And on paper, it seems fine. Underneath, you're slowly starving the parts that are most expensive to fix. The other half of it is timing. Germans don't stretch the interval to whenever I get around to it. Oil breaks down, picks up fuel and soot, and stops doing its job. And a VW run hard on tired oil for too long is exactly how you kill a turbo or stretch a timing chain years before you should. So they change it on schedule every time with the exact oil the engine was built for. Boring? Completely, but it's one of the biggest reasons their cars just refuse to die. Habit number 7, they fix the small stuff before it becomes the big stuff. A new rattle, a faint squeak when braking, a warning light that flickers on and then goes away. For a lot of owners, that's background noise. It's still driving fine, I'll deal with it later. For a German VW owner, that little symptom is the car talking, and they listen the first time. The thinking is simple. Almost nothing on a car fails all at once. It warns you. A worn suspension bushing starts as a faint knock over bumps long before it wrecks your tires and steering. A slightly slipping belt squeals for weeks before it snaps and takes your cooling system with it. That cheap little coolant sensor throwing a light. Ignore it, run the engine hot a few times, and now you're looking at a warped head instead of a $20 part. So they treat small problems as cheap problems, because that's exactly what they are when you catch them early. The squeak gets investigated this weekend, not next year. And because they're constantly knocking out little issues while they're still little, the catastrophic wallet-emptying failures basically never get the chance to happen. Most people pay thousands later to avoid spending $20 today. Germans just spend the $20. Habit number 6, they wage war on rust before it ever starts. Here's a quiet truth about old cars. Most of them don't die because the engine gives up. They die because the body rots out from underneath a perfectly good engine. And Germans, who deal with brutal winters and roads absolutely drowned in salt, learned long ago that rust is the real killer, so they attack it before it has a chance. That means washing the car in winter, not just summer, and specifically blasting the underside to rinse off the salt that eats metal from below where you can't see it. It means caring about the spots nobody thinks about, the door bottoms, the wheel arches, the seams where water likes to sit. Catch a tiny paint chip or a little surface bubble early, deal with it, and it stays a 5-minute fix. Leave it, and that pinhole quietly spreads into a hole the size of your fist behind the panel. A lot of them go further and have the underbody treated or resealed every few years. Cheap insurance that keeps the floor pan, the subframe, the brake lines all solid. Because here's the thing, you can rebuild an engine, you can swap a transmission, but once the structure of the car has rotted through, it's genuinely done, and no amount of mechanical love brings it back. Germans keep the body alive, and the body is what lets everything else hit decades. Habit number 5, they service every fluid, not just the engine oil. Everybody knows about oil, but a modern VW is running on a whole team of fluids, and most owners completely forget the rest of them exist. Coolant, brake fluid, transmission fluid, the fluid in the hull decks or differential. To the average driver, these are lifetime fluids that never need touching. To a German owner, lifetime just means until the part dies if you believe the marketing. Take transmission fluid. A lot of automatics, including VW's DSG gearboxes, get sold as sealed for life, and then they start shuddering and slipping right around the time a fresh fluid and filter service would have kept them smooth for another 100,000. Brake fluid is even sneakier. It actually absorbs water out of the air over time, which drops your braking performance and quietly corrodes expensive parts from the inside. Old coolant loses its anti-corrosion additives and starts eating away at the water pump and radiator. So Germans put every fluid on a schedule, not just the one everybody talks about. Fresh coolant, brake fluid flushed every couple of years, transmission serviced long before it ever complains. None of it is glamorous, and none of it shows up as horsepower on a dyno, but it's the reason their gearboxes don't grenade and their cooling systems don't rot, the unsexy maintenance that quietly buys a car an extra decade. Habit number 4, they refuse to cheap out on parts. When something does need replacing, this is where a lot of owners try to save money, and where Germans spend it. A water pump, a sensor, a set of brake pads, an ignition coil. There's always a bargain bin version online for a fraction of the price. It looks identical in the photo. It bolts right in, and a German VW owner will still walk right past it for the genuine or OEM quality part nearly every time. Why? Because they've watched the math play out. That cheap aftermarket water pump with the plastic impeller fails in 18 months and dumps coolant on the highway. So now you've paid twice for the part, twice for the labor, and maybe cooked the engine while you were at it. The discount coil pack misfires and quietly fouls things up. The off-brand suspension component wears out in a season and feels vague the whole time. Cheap almost always turns out to be the most expensive option once you count the second repair. It's the old saying they live by: buy nice or buy twice. A VW is a precision machine engineered around specific tolerances and materials. And feeding it parts built to those same standards is what keeps everything working together for decades, instead of limping from one failure to the next. Germans pay once, do it right, and never think about that part again. That mindset, quality over the quick saving, is a huge part of why their cars outlast everyone else's. Habit number 3, they drive the car with mechanical sympathy. You can do every service perfectly and still wear a car out years early just by how you drive it. And Germans drive like they actually understand what's happening under the hood. It's not about being slow or boring. On the Autobahn, they'll absolutely use the speed. It's about being smooth and never asking the engine to do something it hates. The biggest one is lugging, crawling along in too high a gear, low revs, then mashing the throttle so the engine strains and shudders to pull the load. It feels economical. It's actually brutal, hammering the bearings and the whole bottom end. Germans instinctively drop a gear and let the engine spin in its happy range instead. Same with the turbo most modern VWs have. After a hard run, they'll ease off and let it idle a few seconds before shutting down, so the oil keeps flowing and the red-hot turbo doesn't bake itself, and they warm it up under light load before reaching for full power, the way we already talked about. It all comes down to one idea: work with the machine, not against it. Smooth throttle, smooth braking, the right gear, no slamming a cold or hot engine. None of it costs a cent or a single minute of your time, but a VW driven with that kind of feel will outlast an identical one that's been lugged, revved cold, and shut down hot every single day, easily by a decade. Habit number 2, they replace parts before those parts fail. This is the one that really separates them. Most owners are reactive. They wait for something to break, then fix it. Germans are preventive. They replace key parts on a schedule while those parts are still working perfectly fine. It feels almost wasteful the first time you see it. It's the single smartest thing they do. The classic example is the timing belt. On a lot of VW engines, that belt has a service life, say, every so many kilometers or years. A reactive owner thinks, it's running great, why touch it? Then one day, with zero warning, that belt snaps. And on an interference engine, the valves smash into the pistons and the motor is instantly destroyed. A car that was perfect that morning is now scrapped by lunchtime. The German owner swapped that belt a year before it was due, along with the water pump and tensioner, while everything was already apart, and never gave it a second thought. Same logic for the clutch, the suspension components, the brakes, renewed on a timeline, not after a failure. Because here's the truth they've internalized. On a machine like this, the cheapest possible moment to replace a part is before it breaks and takes 3 other parts with it. They're not paying to fix problems. They're paying to make sure problems never get the chance to happen. That mindset, preventive, not reactive, is the real engine behind a VW that runs for 30 years. Habit number 1, they treat maintenance as a discipline, not a chore. Everything else on this list, the right oil, the fluids, the preventive replacements, the rust war, the smooth driving, comes down to this one thing at the very core. To most people, car maintenance is an annoyance you put off as long as possible. To a German VW owner, it's a discipline, a non-negotiable ritual, and that mindset is the real reason these cars run for decades. Because every other habit flows out of it. It shows up in the details. They keep the service book religiously, every oil change, every part, every date written down, so the car's entire history is known and nothing ever slips through the cracks. They follow the manufacturer's schedule like it's law, not a loose suggestion. And underneath all of it is a way of seeing the car itself, not as a disposable appliance you run into the ground and toss, but as a long-term machine you keep, something worth looking after properly because you fully intend to still be driving it in 20 years. That's the secret hiding in plain sight. There's no magic part. No special German engineering the rest of the world doesn't get. It's consistency. It's doing the small, boring, correct things every single time, for years, without cutting corners, while everyone else waits for things to break. Do that. And honestly, it almost doesn't matter what badge is on the hood. Respect the machine, stay disciplined, and you can keep any car running for decades, exactly the way the Germans do. So there it is. 9 habits that keep German Volkswagens alive and running long after most cars have been crushed into cubes. And if you go back through the whole list, notice what's not on it. No secret tools, no insider tricks, no expensive wizardry, just the right oil, every fluid on schedule, quality parts, a little rust prevention, fixing the small stuff early, replacing things before they break, driving with some feel, and treating all of it as a discipline instead of a chore. That's the part I love about this. Every single one of these is something you can start doing tomorrow. On whatever you drive right now, Volkswagen or not, your car doesn't need to be German to last like one. It just needs an owner who acts like one. So pick one habit off this list, just one, and actually start with it this week. That's how a car quietly turns into the one that's still running strong 20 years from now. If this helped you see your own car a little differently, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe if you want more of this. Because here on the channel, keeping your car alive for the long haul is what we're all about. I'll catch you in the next one.